Ladies and gentlemen, this particular story, it makes me think of something. And I'm kind of like, you know how I was just talking about how the most ridiculous things happen inside of our community, which we call the black community, in which we're associated by way of a skin color. And the most ridiculous things we're always doing to ourselves, just like that grandmother's house that got shot up that had like 7 children inside the house and they shot it up 150 times. If y'all have not heard about that story, please go look at that video and go listen to what I had to say about that. And I keep thinking to myself, it seems like we are always trying to one up and trying to top the most ridiculous things that we continue to do to ourselves. I say that and I'm thinking there's no way you can top somebody shooting up a house that is full of children and grandmother 150 times. Oh, how about we go shoot up a baby shower? Huh? We go shoot up a baby shower. Yes, that's it. That's how we're going to top the most ridiculousness. Stupid is as stupid thugs. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Huh? Live by the thug, die by the thug. And I know that the family and friends are going to be heartbroken about what I got to say about this, but I want you guys to take a look at my screen because the New York police have pictured a man who was wanted over the fatal shooting of a heavily pregnant 31-year-old woman who was killed in front of her 2 children after her baby shower. Ladies and gentlemen, I could cut it right there and cut straight to the news videos. I do have more details. That in itself is another, like, you can't be that level of dumb. Shot this woman in front of her 2 children. Who did this? Why would they do this? What would precipitate, I haven't used that word in a long time. What would precipitate somebody to this level of anger? Let's talk about it. Justin Soriano, who's 40 years old. This individual, he's a good looking 40. I can't even lie about that. I'm not going to disparage him on that note. He's 40 years old, and he is believed to have fired the shot that killed Shanice Young at her apartment building in Harlem at 1:16 in the morning, 1:16 a.m. on Sunday, according to the New York Police Department. Young was shot in the head as she tried to separate a fight between her ex, believed to be Soriano, this guy, and her new boyfriend. Here's where everybody's going to get mad at me and talk about, Just Jay, you don't have the facts. You weren't there. You don't know what was going on. You need to stop being a coon and disparaging your people. Huh? Let me explain this again. Her ex-boyfriend shot her new boyfriend. Do y'all mind if I bring up a Tommy statistic? Because y'all can look this up and find out that my brother is actually correct about everything that he says. Well, about statistics. I want y'all to check this out. Do you know how in some states, I can't remember which state it is, and I'm sorry that I can't remember the state, but I know there was a state where 1 out of 2 men that were tested in the black community were found out on the first try not to be the baby's father. Whenever they go get a DNA test, the first man that they test is not the father 50% of the time. Why am I bringing up a statistic like that? Here's why. I want y'all to remember that something precipitated this. Something inspired this level of stupid behavior. I want to use the R word, but I can't. I don't want to get flagged off of YouTube. So I got to mind my mouth. I thought about this and I said, she's pregnant, 8 to 9 months pregnant, baby shower, new boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. Why would the ex-boyfriend be there? Could that baby be the ex-boyfriend's baby? You're talking about a small time frame in which she left one man, ended up with another man, and she also has 2 other children. That's at least 3 men that are involved. Because I'm going to assume that the new boyfriend is not the baby of the other children that were around. And I'm going to assume that her ex-boyfriend isn't the father of those other 2 kids. Assuming. Because that's what we do. We tend to go from person after person after person, looking for love in all the wrong places. Ain't that about right? We don't want to be lonely. We are focusing on our own personal pleasures as opposed to finding a suitable mate for our children, for our future, for our legacy, right? Most women in general, and I'm not saying that this is her mentality because I don't know this woman. With all of that makeup on her face, why does her face look like, man? Woo, they gonna get mad at me. That woman looked like she was casket ready with all that makeup. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I just said that. Sorry. That is a lot of makeup. I'm sorry. Somebody is gonna kick my ass for that comment. Sorry. But anyway, we continue to procreate and make children outside of wedlock. If you got that much shit going on between a previous baby daddy, a crazy current boyfriend, a new boyfriend that you ain't even married to, why are we bringing children into this dysfunctionality? I don't even know if that's a word, but maybe we need to make it a word. Dysfunctionality. The reality of dysfunction. These children are looking at potentially 2 men fighting because of the mom, and they're looking like, these men ain't my dad, but these men are fighting over my mom, and oh shit, they pulling out a gun and they shooting. Now they shoot your mom, cause your sibling to die, if I'm not mistaken. Now mom's old boyfriend, who was hanging around trying to be like our daddy, even though he ain't our daddy. And mom's new boyfriend? Like, that's just a pot of bullshit to put children through. Oh my goodness. Let me tell y'all about the rest of this story real quick. Justin Soriano, 40 years old, is believed to be the one who fired the shot that killed her. Young was shot in the head as she tried to separate a fight between her ex and her new boyfriend, who was the father of the unborn baby. How did they know that? Come on, media, don't play with me tonight. How do they know that he is the biological father? The baby's not born yet. So I brought up that statistic earlier. Remember how a lot of times the first man that they test is not the biological father because during their gestation period, they might have been involved with somebody else, and you cannot put that past somebody who has dealt with men in a small amount of time, especially when you're talking about times of having unprotected sex with multiple people. She was not having protected sex with her ex-boyfriend to be acting crazy and shooting people like that. Come on, don't play with me. Don't do it. Young was bringing gifts from her baby shower into her building lobby at 300 West 128th Street in Harlem, New York, when the fight broke out. The gunman came in chasing the boyfriend, Jose Morales. I cannot believe they gave his full name. Jose Morales. So she with a man by the name of Jose Morales. I guess it is New York. The super of Young's building. Oh, excuse me. The super of Young's building told the news they ran through here and out the other side and ran down the stairs. The deceased mother's family told the news that her ex-boyfriend had been stalking her. So whoever said that in the chat was correct. He had been stalking her and was lying in wait in front of her apartment. As of Tuesday evening, no arrests have been made because they don't know what this dude is. He like David Copperfield. I helped her put gifts in the car and I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Her father, Thurman Young, who's 57 years old, told the news. She was going to have her baby in 5 days. Wow. This baby is coming in 5 days. Daddy, get ready. I said, I'll be ready. Young was unconscious and unresponsive when police arrived at the scene and she was pronounced dead at the hospital. The woman's family told the news that her daughters, ages 15 and 6. That's why I said the ex-boyfriend is not the dad of either one of those kids. 15 years old and 6 years old. That's what, an 8-9 year difference? About an 8 or 9 year difference. So she could actually probably have 1, 2, 3 different baby dads. Damn. Shanice's sister, Matanya, which we're going to listen to a video of hers, posted on Facebook. My heart, I can't. My sister is really going. If I knew, if last night I knew that was going to be the last time I get to see you, I would have stayed with you and you would have been alive. I can't believe I let him do this to you. That's not your fault. And I feel her on that. And shout out to the sister who wanted to defend her sister, but that's not your life to live, and that is not your responsibility to protect her. But I do feel that message, though. I really do. Her brother, Teddy, posted pictures from the shower on his Facebook page, which you guys can see some of those. Tonight was beautiful. Baby S can come home. And I don't even know if that baby is going to survive. I hope it will. I don't know if the baby survived or passed away because of this. Let me see if I can find it. I don't see it in this article. I don't even know if they're going to say it in the news, but let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
And don't forget, guys, we're just trying to spread awareness to make sure that we can prevent this thing from going forward. So if y'all would, do me a favor and make sure you guys click that thumbs up and share this story, because I don't want more people to keep going through these silly things that we continue to do to ourselves. Let's get it.
Shanice was a victim. Shanice did not.
Somebody in the chat just said the baby didn't survive. That is 5 days. 5 days. I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. Sorry to hear that, man.
Shanice was a victim. Shanice did not have 4 children. Shanice had 2 daughters, and the third one died with her. That's all I have to say. She was a victim.
Family members of 31-year-old Shanice Young are grieving, and they say they are trying to set the record straight. They say the mother, who was 9 months pregnant, was being stalked by an ex-boyfriend who they say was waiting for her as she unloaded baby gifts into the lobby of her building on West 128th Street and
Y'all remember my hashtag? Hashtag not babies for benefits, but hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. This is what I'm talking about. It seems like a cute thing to get with a dude. You find out he's crazy. You've already gotten so sexually involved. You got soul ties going on, if y'all believe in the spiritual realm. You have all of these emotions, all of these thoughts. You get tied up into this person. And we have to be more careful about who we give our bodies to. That man is clearly crazy. When you date thugs, this is what I'm talking about. You run a high risk of probability that shit is going to go wrong.
Frederick Douglass Boulevard after her baby shower. Police sources tell Pix 11 there was a fight on the sidewalk between her current boyfriend and her ex. Young was shot in the face and died at Harlem Hospital.
This right here was a senseless shooting. I'm very upset and I'm angry. I shouldn't be angry as a clergy, but this one here has touched my heart.
The shooting happened just after 1:15 a.m. Sunday morning, and hospital chaplain Robert Rice spent hours consoling family and friends.
I'm outraged that we don't have community out here. Where's the outrage? We all scream Black Lives Matter, but when it's going to matter to us as a people in the community?
I need to take a pause because somebody in the chat said something that is extremely important. And let me say thank you, Mario, for your super chat. And said, NYPD police chief said 96% of domestic murderers in New York had a criminal record before their relationship. Some women are attracted to hypermasculinity. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Do your background checks. Thank you for sharing that statistic.
Wasn't no fight. He murdered her because she was trying to get away from the abuse.
Activists against domestic violence are holding a 4 p.m. vigil tomorrow at the spot where Shanice Young was killed to draw attention to the plight of victims of domestic violence.
Do you know the best way to avoid domestic violence? To not get involved in the first place. This is where the real education is going to start. Because now we start to hold people accountable. The same way that I hold myself accountable, the same way I hold my daughter accountable, which is why we have these conversations and you do as best as you can to teach and try to reach your child on a mental, spiritual, emotional level and get them to understand to be very cautious about your dating choices. You cannot live their life for them, but you can try to make sure that they're educated about their choices, because once you get involved in a situation like this, it could be a detrimental choice. That's what we're trying to teach.
A pregnant woman is killed after her own baby shower. The search for the person who shot her. And tonight, that mother-to-be shot and killed near her own home. And there's a growing memorial outside of the apartment building in Harlem where this happened. News 4's Ida Siegel live on the corner of Frederick Douglass Boulevard and 128th Street with new information about what happened here and who police believe may be responsible. Ida?
Gilma, I can tell you that there is a family here on 128th Street that's going through an enormous amount of pain. They've asked us to give them their space, which we have. It's why we're across the street from the building where their family member, a pregnant mother, was murdered. We'll show you some video we shot not long ago, and you can see that a memorial has grown outside the building with flowers and candles. Here's what law enforcement sources are telling us at this hour. The victim's name is Shanice Young, 31 years old, pregnant, coming home from her own baby shower in the early morning hours. She was with the father of her child, and they were allegedly unloading gifts from the car when the victim's ex-boyfriend appeared. Police tell us that the current boyfriend and the father of the baby chased the ex-boyfriend, but then lost him. And then that's when the ex-boyfriend shot Shanice 3 times in the head. She was killed right then and there. We're told her baby was also killed, did not survive.
Oh, wow. That is so sad. Damn. 3 times in the face. And the baby didn't survive. 5 days before she was going to give birth. That sucks, man.
Folks in the neighborhood that we've spoken with say they're devastated by this news. They've contributed to the memorial. They say that Shanice was always kind and always in good spirits.
Well, it's a good person, you know, feel upset about what happened because, you know, sometimes you see somebody today they're gone tomorrow. But a good person, so this was tragedy for us to hear about it.
Very, yeah. it was very tragic at the end of the day. Like I sat there and said, she was a beautiful woman that loves it, kept it peaceful. But like I sat there and said, this gun violence needs to stop. Because that's an innocent.
That's not gun violence. Why do they keep saying this? People who say gun violence need to be slapped in the face immediately. Shut up. It's not gun violence. Y'all notice how my gun has been sitting here this whole time and it has not walked off my table right here. It hasn't unlocked the door, hadn't gone outside and shot anybody. The gun hasn't done a damn thing. This is bad people choices. The guns are nothing but tools. It's just like somebody grabbing a knife. People in New York should understand that better than anybody. Well, all of the slicing of razor blades and all of that stuff that happens in New York because they made it so hard for people to have guns at all in New York, they ought to understand that better than anybody. If people want to kill, murder, and maim, they're going to do it regardless. It's the people and the mentality is the problem.
Light taken and the newborn infant gone too.
Say 31-year-old.
The search is on for the gunman who shot and killed a pregnant mother as she headed home from her own baby shower this morning in Harlem. Eyewitness News reporter Naveen Dhaliwal spoke to the victim's grieving family.
A celebration turned into heartbreak for a Harlem family. The pain was visible.
She was 9 months pregnant.
Shanice Young, a mother just weeks away from giving birth, was shot in the head in front of her building on West 128th Street.
Shanice was a victim. Shanice did not have 4 children. Shanice had 2 daughters, and the third one died with her.
Just after 1 a.m., Shanice was returning from her baby shower. She was taking the gifts into her building lobby when police say a fight broke out between 2 men. Neighbors say one of the men was Shanice's ex, the other the father of her unborn child. One of them had a gun that fired off.
I was woken up because of the shots.
A bullet hit Shanice in the head.
As you could imagine, it was very tense and emotional last night. I don't think anybody was able to walk around here without crying.
There's a memorial now for the 31-year-old and her unborn daughter.
Stop the violence!
Local domestic violence activist and survivor Stephanie Warm outraged at the unnecessary loss of 2 lives.
I'm upset because she didn't have to die. She didn't have to die. I'm upset because it could have been me.
What? How could it have been you? Are you dating thugs, unstable thugs with guns? How could it have been you? Why would you say that? Matter of fact, I want y'all to notice, I was actually going to say this on the last stream. Have y'all noticed how they barely interview men anymore? That's a little bit strange for you to sit there and say it could have been me. Why are you making this about you? Why don't y'all make it about the kids? How about that? This is how we can eliminate being selfish. Put the kids first. Like the AFC. Advocates for children first. Shout yourselves out, AFC. We put children first. I don't like when people are selfish like that. Could have been me. No, it wouldn't, woman. Let's not. Boy, let me not go there. Let me not attack this woman because I'm going to. So let me not do that.
Have to die. I'm upset because it could have been me.
And so many wondering the same thing.
It's scary. It's scary, and it's a little close to home. And who shoots a pregnant woman in front of her kids?
And this message for the shooter.
Ah, there go a man, a pastor, of course. Let's bring the church into this.
This man needs to be off the street, and I pray that God convict him, that he would turn himself in.
Really, bro? Really? I cannot believe I'm about to do this. I pray that God convicts his heart to turn yourself in, young man. Do the right thing. Jesus is watching. Turn yourself in. God said in Ephesians 13:15 to turn yourself in when you murder pregnant women, son. Turn yourself in. So you mean to tell me that Jesus in the Bible wasn't telling him not to have premarital sex, not to be a nigga that ain't shit, not to be a nigga that ain't got nothing to do except stalk females, not to go grab a gun, not to go get into a fight with the ex-boyfriend and then chase the mom down and shoot her in the head twice? Let's think about how many sins are involved there. We're going to have to do this like movie and cinema sins, right? We can't just pray this all away. You have to start putting the accountability on people. Stupid is as stupid thugs. They just need to be caught and locked up. Very simple. I seriously doubt if that man has any God in his heart. Past the crazy eyes. Somebody said past the crazy eyes. I'm sorry, man. I would think that a pastor would have more sense than this, but maybe they don't. In general, let's go.
Because the streets is mad at what I'm hearing.
Tonight, police are still trying to...
The streets is mad. Why? I bet the dude that did it is a friend of the street. Man, look, let's keep going.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Moore. We begin tonight with a pregnant Harlem woman gunned down outside her apartment building. This happened after she had just gotten back from her own baby shower. CBS 2's Thalia Perez has the story.
Jessica, such a tragic turn of events. Neighbors tell us that the victim was loading her baby shower gifts into the lobby of her building when gunfire erupted. Police have confirmed with us.
I'm still tripping on that. He said the streets is mad. You mean a nigga from the streets? The streets is mad at a nigga from the streets who do what niggas from the streets do? Really? Okay. Who knew? The streets now have a moral code. Even though most of all the stories I've been doing have been involving all of these shootings where thugs are shooting at each other in parks and shooting each other through the streets, missing their targets and killing kids. Ain't that what the streets are doing? Or am I wrong? So the streets now have a moral code. Got it.
That an ex-boyfriend is the shooting suspect in this case, and he remains at large. Emotions running high as family members of Shanice Young gathered around a memorial in front of the building where the 31-year-old was gunned down. Police sources say there was a dispute.
I'm glad they had candles rather than balloons. Good job, New York. Good job. They had candles. That's good.
And Young was trying to break up a fight before shots were fired. But a woman who identified herself as the victim's sister says that's not the case.
She was 9 months pregnant. Shanice was a victim.
Police say it happened just after 1 Sunday morning outside of her building on West 128th Street. Neighbors say the victim had just returned from her own baby shower with her current boyfriend.
Shanice had 2 daughters, and the third one died with her.
Stephanie McGraw, the director of We All Really Matter, an anti-domestic violence nonprofit, came to the scene to offer the family support.
We've got to understand how serious domestic violence is and how dangerous it is.
It still remains unclear if Young was the intended target, and so far, no arrests have been made. Reporting outside the 32nd Precinct in Harlem, Thalia Perez, CBS 2 News.
If that pastor really believes that the streets all of a sudden give a crap about what's going on, I think that the majority of them might have missed that memo. Will all of the dead children, including this unborn baby, and including these traumatized children who watched their mother be shot down in the street like a damn stray dog. I don't understand how he feels like all of a sudden the streets is. That really upset me to hear that. But I'm telling y'all, this dude ain't hard to find. He's probably got some chick that he's probably laying up with, hiding with, and and whoever is hiding this man, whether it be probably his mama or some girlfriend, whoever they find him with, I think that they need to be charged as an accessory. Not accessory, but a harboring a fugitive of justice. That should easily get you 3 years in jail. Make people really think about this thing. Make people really regret hiding somebody out who you know is accused of a heinous crime, and they have eyewitnesses that can prove this. You know what they're accusing him of, then you should turn him in. But definitely don't expect for God to convict his soul to turn himself in. Come on, Pastor. Come on, Pastor. I think you can preach a little bit of a better message than that. But then again, I'm not so sure that a lot of pastors' hearts are in the right place to begin with. But that's a whole nother story. I want to again tell you guys a very simple thing. And I want to say thank you again to that individual who sent that super chat earlier that put out a very important statistic. The majority of these type of men already have a propensity for violence that you can find by way of their criminal background. They already have a record before they get involved with these women. But how many of them do a background check like I've been begging them to do for 3 years now? We can go buy money for weave. We can go buy money for MAC makeup. We can go buy eyelashes. We can go get our fingernails done, our toes did, be on fleek all the goddamn time. But we can't buy a background check. We can't buy life insurance. I'm sure the mom didn't have life insurance. I'm sure we're going to see a GoFundMe pop up here. Oh, probably by the end of the week. I'm pretty sure that her other children don't have life insurance. Why is that important? Because everyone that is born is going to die. No one knows the day. No one knows the hour. It is going to inevitably happen to all of us. Why would we not be prepared for that? Why would we put the inevitable off on society to say, y'all should feel bad, y'all should donate? Why? It's going to happen to everybody. So what if everybody just put up a GoFundMe when their sad passing happens? Then what are we going to do? We're going to have way more GoFundMes that don't get funded because people don't have a plan for the inevitable. Do you know what inevitable means? It means it's going to happen to everybody. And if it's going to happen to everybody, why would we not plan for it? It's just like having children. We bring children into this world with no plan for them. I recommend Gerber Life. There's probably 100 things that you guys can go Google search and look up. I don't care what you choose. Have a plan. Even if you choose your family, make sure that the family comes together. Family, friends, cousins, y'all take care of your family circles. Everybody should do that. When it comes to your dating choices, a simple background check will let you know that this fool has a criminal record and he has a propensity for violence, which means that if you knew it beforehand, before you give your precious body and your womb up. Let me say that again, ladies. Before you give up your precious body and your precious womb, you should know who's entering your body and who you're mixing those bodily fluids with and those soul ties. You should know who you're being tied to. Sex should be taken a hell of a lot more seriously than just thinking somebody's going to mix with you and they're just going to go the fuck away. Bye, I don't want you no more. You think that's the way it works? I've had stalkers. No, I ain't the most attractive man in the world, but yes, I've had stalkers. Who can I blame? Myself. Why? Because reckless sex is not a good thing. It is harmful to people like me to have reckless sex, just like it's harmful for women to have reckless sex for a number of different reasons. Because you don't really know who you're merging with. A simple thing to do a background check, find out he's crazy. Don't even think about your own personal pleasures like I like to talk about. Think about the 2 kids that you already had. You already got 2 kids. You already got too much going on. To have 2 kids and be unmarried in your 30s, you got too much going on. Just like me, I'm the same way. Why do you think I haven't made no more kids? Because I had too much going on. We must learn from our mistakes. We must learn from our situations and do better going forward. That's all I'm asking. To that young soul, I don't want him on my screen. Let me get this fool off my screen. To the mother, R.I.P. To the baby, and we don't know if that baby had a name. I'm sure the baby already had a name. To the baby that didn't survive, R.I.P. Per hands up for the children that did survive. And they probably need counseling because this is probably going to be very tough for them. For both of those children, because they are very, very aware at this point between being age 15 and 8. They are very aware of what's going on. But again, thank you guys so much for listening to the story with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you so much.